A confession just hit the feeds. Real words, not a rumor. And everything feels like it could change in an instant. Before we get swept up, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you get every update as it drops. If you care about seeing Lily and Jack found, stay close. Every viewer, every tip matters. Let's be blunt. A spoken confession in a missing children case is huge. It grabs headlines, spawns hope, and forces 1,000 strangers to decide who to believe. But experience teaches caution. Confessions can also be false, confused, or deliberately misleading. So today I'm going to walk you through what a confession means, what investigators must check, how this one stacks up against what we already know, and why, even now, facts matter more than drama. First, what was reported. A person reportedly told investigators they were involved in or witnessed the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan. According to early accounts, the statement wasn't vague. It included descriptions of movements, interactions, and suggested places connected to the case. That's why the story blew up. Any detail beyond the public record looks like progress. But let's slow down. A confession is not automatic truth. People confess for all sorts of reasons. Some are driven by conscience. After sleepless nights, the weight becomes unbearable and they finally tell. Some are unstable or seeking attention, repeating details they read online as if they were present. Some confess under pressure. Long interrogations and suggestive questioning can produce false admissions. And, disturbingly, some will claim responsibility to protect someone else or to manipulate attention while co-conspirators erase evidence. You can see why investigators treat confessions as a beginning, not an end. So how do investigators separate the real from the fake? The first test is the timeline. We have firm public milestones in this case. Lily and Jack were last confirmed together with family on May 1st, in public. The missing persons report was filed the next morning, May 2nd. Between those 2 points is the window investigators must pin down. If a confession claims events that fall outside that window, or that contradict established timestamps, that's a red flag. Real perpetrators often reveal tiny details they didn't know were public, an object location, a phrase said at the moment, or a movement only someone present could describe. Ask yourself, does a confession add anything new? Does it mention a place not yet searched, or a specific hiding spot, or an item not mentioned anywhere else? Or does it simply echo what's already online? They were at the trailer. A pink blanket was found. The wooden bridge was mentioned. Repeating publicly known facts can be done by anyone. A credible confession will include verifiable, non-public details that match evidence. A unique description of an interior room, a small injury, an off-the-record phrase, an item placed in a particular ditch. Next, investigators will look for corroboration. That means checking CCTV and trail camera timestamps, cell phone data, vehicle movements, witness statements, and any physical trace that can be cleaned up and tested. If the person points to a location and a search yields physical evidence, personal items, DNA, or trace material that links to the children, that quickly strengthens credibility. If phone records show the confessor's phone in the area at the claimed time, that's powerful. Conversely, if records place him somewhere else, the confession weakens. There's also motive. Why confess now? Timing matters. Did law enforcement tell the person something that made them decide to speak? Are they under pressure? Are they trying to shield someone else by taking blame? Or maybe they have a guilty conscience. There are also psychological profiles to consider. Some individuals insert themselves into cases for attention, others to feel important. Motives don't prove involvement, but they shape how carefully investigators proceed. Let's place any alleged confession against known facts from the case. Publicly, police said they reviewed thousands of video files and hundreds of tips, seized items for forensics, including a pink blanket found near the home, and conducted repeated ground searches in the woods and near pipeline trails. We know the last confirmed sighting of the children was May 1st with family, and the missing persons report was filed May 2nd around 10 a.m. Those are anchor points. If the confessor's story describes events after May 1st sighting and before the May 2nd report, it could fit. If their story references things not publicly known, for example, a distinctive stain on the blanket in a specific place, or a remark that wasn't reported, investigators will test that detail. If the confession places the children at a particular spot and search teams find matching physical traces, the confession becomes more credible. If not, the confession remains unverified. We also have to think about how confessions can derail investigations. A single dramatic claim will draw headlines and public attention instantly. Police resources may shift to follow the lead. They have to. But every hour spent chasing an unverified confession is an hour not spent following other tips, re-examining footage, or conducting careful forensic work. In missing child cases, time is critical. Misplaced focus can cost momentum and, in the worst case, lives. What do investigators do next when they get a confession? They treat it as a lead to be tested, not a verdict. They will cross-check the confession's timeline with known timestamps, surveillance, phone pings, witness sightings. Ask the confessor for precise, non-public details only someone present would know. Compare the confession to physical evidence, blanket condition, footprints, any item seized. Seek corroboration from independent sources, other witnesses, vehicle logs, and digital records. Assess the confessor's background and possible motives for coming forward now. If the confession aligns with independent evidence, it will change the investigation dramatically. If it doesn't, investigators will move on, but the community remains shaken, and understandably so. Let's be clear about what a confession could do. If it's accurate, it might point to where Lily and Jack were taken or to people who helped. It could reveal a timeline that clears some suspects and implicates others. It could show whether the children left voluntarily with a caregiver, were lured, or were taken by someone else. Those are the outcomes everyone wants because they offer a path to finding the children. But suppose a confession is false. Then it becomes a weapon for confusion. It could shield the real perpetrator, distract resources, or even put innocent people under new suspicion. The public then faces a danger of polarized reaction. One group insists a confession proves guilt. Another warns against jumping to conclusions. Both reactions complicate the investigation. Now, think about what a responsible public response looks like. First, don't share sensational posts that assert the confession proves guilt. Don't amplify unverified claims or name individuals as guilty before the facts are confirmed. Second, if you have credible information, a dash cam clip, a piece of footage, a memory you didn't think mattered, hand it to law enforcement. A casual tip may be the missing piece. Third, support careful journalism and official channels. They're slow because they must be precise. That precision matters. Psychology matters here. 2. False confessions can be emotional pleas. People who cannot bear the weight of guilt may shout it into microphones. People with mental health struggles may conflate reality with fantasy. Others confess to protect someone or to cause a diversion. That complexity is why investigators use rigorous methods to test statements. We must also remember the human toll. For Lily and Jack's family and the community, every new twist is another wave of hope and despair. They've lived with months, now weeks, of not knowing. A confession can feel like progress, but the family needs facts, not headlines. If the confession brings clarity, it might bring relief. If it collapses under scrutiny, it prolongs anguish. Either way, the children remain missing and the clock continues to tick. So what should you look for as this develops? Watch for 2 things: verifiable details and coordinated police action. If investigators search a new, specific site based on confession and find physical evidence linked to the children, that's significant. If the confession only produces press statements and social media churn without a corresponding investigative push, be skeptical. Also watch whether the confessor's account matches objective data, GPS pings, ATM timestamps, CCTV frames. Those are the hard facts that turn a story into evidence. Finally, keep this in mind. Confessions can be the beginning of closure, but sometimes they're a diversion. The right response is rigorous scrutiny, steady policing, and public cooperation. If you know something, say something, anonymously if you must. If you saw a car, a person, or something you dismissed as trivial, call the tip line. Private recollections become public leads when checked against other facts. To bring this home, yes, a confession appeared. No, it does not by itself solve the case. We must compare it carefully to the timeline, to the pink blanket and the single boot print, to the thousands of hours of footage and hundreds of tips investigators have already processed. If the confession checks out, it could be the key. If it doesn't, it could be the most damaging distraction yet. Either way, justice for Lily and Jack depends on patient, methodical work, and on people with knowledge stepping forward. If anything in this discussion rings a bell, a sighting, an odd vehicle, a scrap of video, reach out to the official investigators. Don't post it first online. Give it to the people who can act. And if you want to keep watching this investigation as it unfolds, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll keep following verified developments, and we'll keep pushing for answers until Lily and Jack are found. Keep an eye on the facts, not the noise.